was in college and I was majoring in French, but I was in love with theater. I studied abroad in Paris for a year. And I came back just burning to do theater in French. And I went to a very small college and they said, oh, no, no, Carolyn, we can't do that. And I said, well, one day, one day, one day. And finally, gosh, 12 or 13 years later, I said, I'm tired of waiting. I had become a professional actor by that time. I had gone to different theaters in the Atlanta area and suggested that they produce a play in French because I thought there would be an audience for it. And nobody believed me, so I produced a play in French. And so from there, it seemed very clear that the name should simply be Théâtre du Rêve, Theater of the Dream, because it was a dream delayed that became real.
I can't. I'm already marrying someone else. Ew.
What's exciting is discovering that what you create is language specific and universally moving at the same time, so that when you're living in English, you can live the same emotion in French and it has a different flavor to it. And people can connect to it differently if it's spoken through these other words or channeled through these other sounds, but it's the same human emotion. So what I find that's so beautiful is just exploring the connection of language to life and vice versa.
People say all the time, oh my gosh, I want to see your work. I love the artists you work with. A lot of the artists who work with us are actually well-known Atlanta actors who happen to speak French. And I say, this year we decided to put a stamp on all of our work that is no fear French. So whether you speak French or not, there is always a point of entry, a way to enjoy the show. So what do we do now? We super title shows, much like the opera or a foreign film. So, you know, you'll be seeing something happening on stage in French and it'll be super titled in English. Or we do bilingual productions so that the languages French and English are in dialogue with one another, so it's accessible to everyone. Or sometimes you'll see something entirely in French and then see it afterwards in English right away. So you kind of have this delicious recognition of, oh my gosh, I just saw that and I understood more than I thought.
Sir, are you a gentleman?
Excuse me, ma'am, what?
Are you?
Today's play is called Lovers and Lunatics. It is 3 farces by Georges Feydeau, and I adapted 2 of the farces into modern contemporary English. The original farce is set in the 1880s in France. And the last one is a bilingual piece that is in English and in French, but is also modernized.
Let's go too far.
A big thing.
You have to justify why the characters are speaking different languages. And so I had to come up with a conceit. I had to restructure the design of some of the characters. I had to create, I changed the nationalities of the characters. I created a conceit that allows certain characters to speak together in French and certain characters to only be able to speak together in English because they don't speak French. And so you're just adding layers onto the text, adding layers onto the characters that, you know, are already full and really developed. And so that was an interesting challenge.
I will say there's something that's really great about acting or directing in another language. It forces you to be a better actor or director, I think. There's a way in which when you're working in another language, it's like putting another mask on, like when you speak in an accent in a play. So it's this thing that distances you from yourself another degree, so that there's a way in which you can be more authentic sometimes or freer within the work that you're doing because you have this degree of removal from yourself.
What's really interesting to me is that when I named the company Théâtre du Rêve, that had to do specifically with my dream of combining my passions of theater and French. Now, when Park took over the company, she had yet another level of dream to make it a truly international company. So she has taken this company to different parts of the United States, to Europe, and it has grown. She has brought in artists from all over the world. So it's become a truly global company under her leadership, which I feel is just the dream growing.
Madame.
Monsieur.